both belong. Join the conference, it's gonna be lit. Curipod fam, you don't wanna miss it. In this digital age, we gather online. No need to travel, no waiting in line. From the comfort of home, our passion tastes light. Break me dividers, but our heart bars are right. Can't attend live, don't let it dismay. Plays on the way, just a click, no delay. Curicon, the future's awesome. We're writing, teaching, they both belong. Join the conference, it's gonna be lit. Curipod fam, you don't wanna miss it. So spread the word, let the assignment unfold. Curicon's the place for teachers, it's all one. In the rhyme, my body together, we'll find. Our Curicon, let make the future come alive.
Hi, Curicon champions. I'm Amanda Fox, your host, and I'm sad that we've reached the grand finale of day 2. But what a journey it's been. A massive shout out to each and every one of you for sticking with us until the very end. Your curiosity and enthusiasm have truly lit up the virtual room. Our final speaker is a true legend in the educational world, someone whose wisdom and insights have touched the lives of countless educators. I'm talking about the one and only Matt Miller. He's not just a speaker, he's a beacon of knowledge, freely sharing his expertise through his books and blogs. And to boot, he is one of the nicest people I have ever met, and probably you will too. Matt has spent over a decade in the classroom. He wrote Ditch That Textbook. He's a Google certified innovator and has been named one of the top 10 influencers in edtech and learning worldwide. He's in the top one in my edtech world. I've been following him for a long time, and I had the pleasure to hang out with him for a little bit at ICE. He provides practical use in class tomorrow, solutions to educators that they can immediately go and implement. He also helps teachers focus on what's most important to keep education relevant. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up Matt Miller.
How am I supposed to talk after that introduction?
I had to pull out all the bells and whistles and ChatGPT to kind of finesse my words.
It worked. You called me a beacon. I don't think I've ever had that before.
You're a lighthouse for the world of education, 100%.
Aww. Well, you're so sweet. And I found my orange trash can t-shirt too for the occasion. So
yay. Awesome. Well, we welcome all orange, even with trash cans.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's right.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds good. Well, it's good to see everybody here in the presentation. Am I taking it away, Amanda?
You're about to take it away. We're going to see who's in the chat. So we have Ken.
Oh, gotcha.
That's Carrie Nielsen. Kimberly, she's so excited. Carla, Chris, Matt is the best. He is the best.
Aw.
So I don't want to steal any of your thunder or any of your time, because I am going to sit back with my goldfish. We got our orange snacks. I might actually break out some healthy orange, but I'm worried about the juiciness with my fingers on the keyboard, so I might refrain until after. So yeah, I'm gonna pop down. I'm gonna cue you up with your presentation.
Yeah.
And take it away.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. It's good to see all of the folks here in the chat and everything. Looks like Dr. Keisha is here. I see Selena and Farrah Faust is there, and Christy. Oh my goodness. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen you face to face since TCEA. And I see Kristen and Diane in there. And then Carla, who saw my session at ICE. Good to see you as well. So awesome to see so many friends in the chat today. And if you're watching this on a replay later, hello, we're excited to see you also. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about AI in general, but also about Curipod specifically. I wrote this book called AI for Educators. So I've been kind of thinking about the, sort of the bigger picture of what AI means in the classroom and in schools and in education. Hey, Carrie Ann. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to look a little bit big picture, and then we're going to take it into into the specifics. Oh, there's my friend Helena from St. Croix, who is in my AI for Educators online course, and Lynette's here too. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I wanted to give you all a link before I get too far into this. You can go to ditch.link/Curicon. I do that in all lowercase, ditch.link/Curicon to get the slides to my presentation. So if you want to get sort of a read-only link to be able to see my slides, you can go to that. And it looks like they've dropped the link into the chat right there, so you can just copy that and stick it over into your browser. So let's go back in time about a year or so. Do you remember when this happened? All of a sudden in October, actually probably didn't really notice it. Oh, there's my friend Oscar from South Texas who just popped in. Hey there. I've really got to not be so distracted by the chat. I just love seeing you all here. Anyway, like I was saying, do you remember when this happened? This was, the end of 2022. It really happened almost a year ago today. Not like today, but right around today. A lot of us didn't really catch it until a little bit later on in the year, but all of a sudden, here comes ChatGPT. See, I asked Bing Image Creator to make me a picture of a robot just like popping in saying hello in a classroom, and then stuck that ChatGPT logo on its chest. And that's kind of the way it was, right? Like all of a sudden it kind of shows up and we're like, oh my goodness, what in the world is this? And what is it doing? And how am I going to be able to teach? And what is the future of education? And am I going to be irrelevant as a teacher? Like, does any of that sound familiar to you? Like, you kind of feel this existential crisis going on of, what is going on? Did this feel like you right here? Like all of a sudden, if students are able to write essays with AI, like, what am I going to do? How am I going to change my lesson plans? I think a lot of us kind of went through all of that, right? And we're still going through it to some extent. And so, and then Dr. Keisha says, I learned about ChatGPT in December 2022 and been all over it ever since. See, there's a handful of us, aren't there? Not everybody's that way. I'd say not the majority is that way, but there are some, probably a lot of us that are watching this presentation tonight that are just like that. And so, but a lot of us are still sort of trying to figure out what its place is and, what we should do with AI. And it's tough, isn't it? But I have a little bit of encouragement because you see, we've been here before. This isn't new territory. I've got a keynote speech that I do in schools and at conferences called Tomorrow Glasses. And this whole idea that we've been here before. See, we've had what I like to call innovative disruptions that have happened before in education, and we figured out what to do, going forward after that. Case in point, let's go all the way back to printed books. Did you know that the philosopher Plato was worried about the impact of printed books years and years and years ago? I mean, look at that little middle part. People will cease to exercise memory because they rely on that which is written. Translation, Plato thought that books were going to make us stupid, right? I mean, sort of. That's kind of what he thought. And here we are today, and books are a huge part of our society. Fast forward to this is a quote from 1990s math teachers. You got to learn how to do this because you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket, You've probably heard that one before too, right? And then even a little bit more recent, our early 2000s teachers. We can't have search engines. What if students just look up all of the answers, And what have we done since then? We've adapted. We've moved forward. We try to figure out what we do with the information at our fingertips instead of trying to, just do rote memorization of all of this information. Can we put Carla's quote up there, her chat up at the down at the bottom that says, the humanity of teaching will never be replaced, only enhanced by technology and tools. I think that definitely is, something that makes us special as humans, And something that makes us special as teachers that can't totally be replaced by artificial intelligence. I mean, if you think about it also, when YouTube started coming out, people thought, oh man, you can learn how to do anything on YouTube. Is that going to take the place of us as educators? And I mean, it has changed things, but here we are, right? Jolene says, new ideas are always scary to some, but I'm glad we're progressing beyond this for the most part. And we will continue to progress, right? See, to me, all of these lessons that we just talked about are evidence that we figure it out in the end, don't we? As educators, we get it in the end. And we're already, just like Jolene said, we're already starting to figure it out little by little, because we have already found some ways that AI can support us, haven't we? And that's part of the reason that all of us are right here. One of the big reasons is because of Curipod. I got to tell you, the first time that I found out about Curipod, I think I was at the FETC conference or the TCEA conference, one of the two. FETC is a big conference in Florida every year. And then TCEA is the big conference in Texas, teaching with technology. And I had a couple of friends who had met Jens from Curipod, and they're like, we met this guy. He's got this new app. It's called Curious something. I don't remember, but it sounds really cool. And that was all that it took for me. I got to meet Jens and I got to see what Curipod is doing. And I mean, one of the things that I love about it is that it is definitely one of the first things that teachers think of where they're trying to envision how AI can help them, you know, and that is for so many of us in teaching, presentation slides are a big thing, right? Amanda's comment. Hey, Amanda, funny how much management uses AI but complains when students want to use it. I have also, okay, quick side note about Amanda's comment because it's so true. So interesting because I've heard teachers at my own workshops talk about, oh, this is going to save me so much time. Oh, think about the things that it's going to help me to do. Oh, this is incredible. And then we start talking about students using it, and they're like, well, I don't want that. No, we've got to figure out ways to block that for the students. And that's a whole big discussion for another time. But like Amanda said, it's kind of funny, right? And it was, yeah, Ken's right. It was at the TCEA conference because I did email everybody about it. So anyway, so when it comes to Curipod, one of the things that I do love about it is that it has taken something that a lot of us use in the classroom on a regular basis, presentation slides, and it's helped them to be interactive, but it's also used AI to generate a starting point. And I think that that's kind of the bigger picture. And one of the reasons that I'm optimistic about generative AI in schools is because for me, AI has become kind of like my new teaching assistant. Do any of the rest of you feel that way? Tell me in the chat if this really resonates with you. AI is my new teaching assistant. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I was teaching high school Spanish, I would sit in my room, I'm like grading things all by myself after school, ready to go home, and I would just sort of daydream, and I'd be like, I wonder what it would be like if the school hired me an assistant. And I knew how like ridiculous it sounded because they could hardly afford to pay all of the teachers. But I thought, yeah, what if I had an assistant, somebody that could help me make teaching materials and could, help me grade and, help me create slides and just do different things like that. Well, here we are. This is one of the rare occasions, I feel like, in the history of education where something is trying to take things off of the plates of educators. And just think about that. What's the most precious commodity to us as educators, right? Erica's with me. Oh, hey, Erica, we got green screen gal in here. Teachers should have always had an assistant. This is incredible and so much fun. Yeah, no, I'm with you. But if you think about it, the currency that really helps us to thrive is time. We as educators, we've known this for a long time. It's sometimes hard for our school leaders, our administrators to wrap their brains around. But if you want teachers to do amazing things, give them some time. And so this is one of the few moments I feel like where with this new teaching assistant, it can help us do, like Carla says right here, get a start on things for feedback, suggestions, brainstorming, research, so much more. If you can outsource some of those things that aren't the things that make you uniquely special as a human teacher, if you can outsource some of that stuff to AI, or at least get a first draft of it, then that saves us so much time, and it lets us put our effort into the things that make us so special, right? Yeah. Oh, and I'm seeing some of you are totally resonating with the time thing too, which I love. Oh, and Mary was mentioning my book. She says, I can't wait to get my hand on Matt's AI for Educators book. This is it right here if you haven't seen it before. She's heard good things about it. So, and I'm going to share a little bit out of it in this presentation. And so this is part of the reason that I'm so excited about Curipod is, you look at all of these AI generators. And by the way, if you log into Curipod and you scroll through all of these generators, you really have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to see all of them. And I don't know about you, but for me personally, like the ability to look at all it, I mean, you have to scroll a lot, right? But if you start to look at some of these AI generators, they're rooted in the idea of good, solid teaching and learning, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you look through, and one of the first places that everybody seems to start is right here with the full lesson, because we want that full set of slides. But really, if you look down through some of these AI generators, you start to see that these are the building blocks of really good, really good lesson plans. So, I mean, for instance, you want to start out with a lesson hook. A lot of times you want to do something that kind of hooks students in, right? At the end, you're probably going to want to use an exit ticket. At some point, it's probably a good idea to do like an SEL check-in. And see, there's an SEL check-in poll. There's the check-in, just trying to figure out where students are. And see, if you think about it, these are it's like modular. It's like these little blocks that you build your lessons out of. And the thing that I love about them too is actually something that some people might be discouraged about at first. Go with me on this. Because you see, I see the kinds of things that Curipod's AI generators, the kinds of things that they build for us. I don't see them as much as, I don't see them as like a finished product. See, I see them more like a first draft. I alluded to this a little bit earlier, that AI can create, and whether you're using Curipod, if you're using ChatGPT, if you're using, Microsoft Bing or an image generator or whatever, it gives you your first draft. Because you see, a lot of times whenever I create a Curipod lesson, I'm not using it, perfectly exactly the way that it is. I'm probably going to go replace some of the background images, or I'm going to adjust some of the text, or I'm going to ask it to generate more slides so that they can replace other ones. See, AI tools like Curipod don't have to give you perfect results right out of the box. See, I think the big goal is that if we can take a task that used to take us 20 minutes, and if we can get it so that it takes us 8 minutes, we just saved ourselves 12 minutes. And that's big, right? I mean, you start to multiply that out over, even if that happens just once a day. What if you had an extra 12 minutes every day all week? That's almost an hour. What if you multiply that times the, what is it, 36 weeks that we teach? Now we're looking at, more than 30 extra hours that we have to work with. So what could you do with all of this? I love how Jackie Gerstein's like, yeah, you're kind of preaching to the choir because we're all attending Curicon. Yeah, I know, but this is what we do sometimes as educators, right? We all get together with some like-minded folks, and we get energy from each other and everything. So so that can be kind of fun, I think. So anyway, let's start to dive into some of the things that you can do with Curipod. This is an example of a this is an example of a lesson that I did during professional development, where I was teaching teachers about it, because a lot of times I'll just pull Curipod up and we'll create a lesson all together. And And so, this is another example, I think, of how it can be our first draft, because you see, if I look through all of these slides, some of these slides some of the images at least don't necessarily fit a lesson about Taylor Swift. So then what do? We just swap out the pictures. It's still so much faster for me to swap out the pictures and change some of the text than it is to do it totally from the from scratch. Oh yeah, and like Jolene says here, best part of these sessions is the sharing. I tell you what, whenever I go to these sessions, I always learn so much from you all right here in the chat. So so what can we do with it? I mean, I could jump in and I could tell you about all of the I think that's a Taylor Swift reference, but it's just that's totally lost on me, sorry. But anyway, I could tell you about all of my favorite features inside of it and everything, but I thought maybe we might take a quick look at an activity that you can do with Curipod that isn't like totally exactly baked into it. I haven't even told the Curipod people that I'm doing this yet, so they may be kind of surprised by this. So we're gonna play a little game of predict the pod. And so here's the concept behind predict the pod, because you see, what I can do is I'm going to pull up Curipod on my device, and I'm going to ask it to generate some slides. In fact, we just had Taylor Swift up there just a second ago, didn't we? Let's stick with that. So here's how you play predict the pod, and this is actually a fun game that you can play with your own students in your class. What you do is you take a topic that students have learned about, and you could do this with ChatGPT, you could do this with Curipod, with lots of tools. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a lesson. In fact, here it comes. I'm going to create a lesson about Taylor Swift, just a full lesson. Okay, I'm just going to put Taylor Swift. We'll make it on like the 7th grade. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. So in the chat, here's what I'd love for you to do. Tell me the things that you expect to see in a full lesson set of slides from Curipod about Taylor Swift. Best guess about the kinds of stuff. Now, you remember what kind of slides you get from a Curipod lesson, right? You get you get multiple choice questions, you get free response questions. It gives you bullet points of information. So like, tell me some of the things that you expect to show up in this full lesson. I'm seeing Oscar is saying her bio, Diane is saying her top hits, Chris is saying how she got started with music. Mary's just kind of enjoying the game, the predict the pod game. Sherry's saying her music history. Oh, and then where did it go? Jackie's saying draw a picture of her and Travis Kelce. I would be impressed if it came up with that. That would be pretty recent. Examples of her music. Chandler's even saying a question about Travis Kelce, right? Curipod themselves are saying word cloud, open question, bio, discography, maybe a thing about Travis Kelce. There's a lot of that, right? Carla's saying something about Eris, transition from country to... Okay, so we've got lots of things. Oh, and then Oscar's daughter is even getting in on it, who says her hit songs from this last tour. Okay, so we've got our ideas, right? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to hit one of my favorite buttons in all of ed tech. Because whenever I do workshops with teachers, I always mention this too. Like, you got to love a tech tool that has a button that says do magic, right? Don't you love it? So I'm going to hit that button. And so we're going to wait and see how many of you were correct. And so, of course, part of the Predict the Pod game is, I'm just going to add all 10 slides. Part of the Predict the Pod game is to see which one of yours you were able to guess, and then to critique the things that it added that you didn't guess and see if you figure out if you agree with it or not. Okay, so let's start to do that. First one. What is the genre of music Taylor Swift is known for? Somebody was talking about the crossover from country, so that's kind of accurate. So pop music icon, somebody was talking about her biography, her debut album, awards. I don't know if anybody said anything about awards, but that was on here. That was a good idea, right? Now we've got the sort of like vocabulary list here: songwriting, fame, album. And see, that could have been a subset of the predict the pod game, right? Just to say, what are the words that you think that they'll come up with? What's your favorite Taylor Swift song? Some of you are wishing that I would hit that present button and you'd be able to vote right now, aren't you? For the sake of time, we're going to skip past that. Wrote her first song at age 12. First musical instrument was a banjo. 2 cats named Benjamin Button and Olivia Benson. I didn't know that. Most important messages in her music, themes and topics. How has her music evolved through her career? How do her songs make you feel? And then finally, how does her music reflect your own experiences and beliefs? Some of you got some of those right. Now, if you were to, and I love Jennifer's comment that she just threw in. She said, if you've introduced the activity, this is a fun recall activity. Yes, it is. And it's a little bit of a guessing game too, right? It's a way to kind of gamify things. Now, of course, we could go and we could run this, but the benefit of Predict the Pod is in looking at the decisions that the AI made, right? So that's really what we're doing here. So now let me ask you all in the chat, what were some of the things that you saw here that you thought were a little off? Like it's not exactly what you would have said? Like if you were making a 10-slide presentation, you're like, I don't think that was that important. Or were there any things in this that you were like, I didn't predict it, but this is really good. I should have included that. See, that's the kind of reflection that you can do with your students as you flip through all of these. See, that's one of the things that I like about Curipod is that it is made for K-12, and it does have access to, to GPT, to the ability to use that large language model to spin up all of this stuff for us. But it's for, it's for students, which is great. Carla says it would be an excellent topic for a review unit, especially if students had to justify what was included and what's left out. Dr. Keisha thinks it's spot on. Jackie says, I didn't predict her cats, but would include that. Carla said that too. She says, awards would have been a clear ad and the cats. See, all of us are like, of course, the awards and the cats. What were we thinking, right? Yeah, and then of course Diane says you got to make sure that the content is accurate. That's one of the things I like about Curipod also is that it does give us that reminder in different places that sometimes we have to do that. All right, I kept Chris's attention. This is great. Okay, so to wrap this up because we're almost to the end here, I wanted to show you a couple of resources if you want to go a little bit further with AI, if you want to learn a little bit more with me, that kind of thing. First of all, this is probably the biggest one, and I would love it if somebody from Curipod or Amanda or somebody were able to type that URL into a chat and include the http:// at the beginning so that everybody can just click on it. This is an invitation for you to join my email newsletter. It's sent out a few times every week, and it's got practical teaching ideas that you can use in class right away. And it also comes with these free ebooks that are full of teaching ideas. You can see the little slogan up at the top that says, can I write your lesson plans for you for free? That's kind of what these free ebooks and all the teaching ideas are like. And so, there's the link right there. That's fantastic. So anyway, if you click on that, you're going to get all of these free ebooks along with your subscription to my free email newsletter. So if you haven't joined that already, I would love, love, love for you to do that. Ken gives it a, his recommendation, which I very much appreciate. So anyway, yeah, if you want to just follow the advice of some of the folks in here, I certainly appreciate that. I also did want to tell you that my fellow Curipod presenter and fellow AI author, Dan Fitzpatrick, and I are leading a webinar tomorrow. It's tomorrow, and it's all about cheating and academic integrity and trying to wrap our brains around that and everything. If you want to learn a little bit more about that and hear both of us talk about it, both of us have been thinking about AI an awful lot, and we have a lot to say. So If you want to join that, then you can go to ditch.link/Matt and Dan to sign up for it. It's going to happen at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. But if you're teaching during that time, you'll be able to catch a replay. So that's the place where you sign up. And thank you all so much for the very, very kind comments that you left. I'm going to give you this one last slide, and then I'm going to wrap it up, which is a whole handful of AI resources if you want to go a little deeper with some of the stuff that I've created. I've got a comprehensive blog post. All of our AI blog posts are here at ditch.link/AI posts. You can get my book at that link, ditch.link/AI book. I've got some online courses you can check out. And then, of course, there's this one right here that has the slides for this particular presentation. And, of course, my email address is on there, too. So if you ever want to reach out to me, then you certainly can. So, wow. It is right at the top of the hour. Did I hit it like right on 30 minutes, Amanda?
You nailed it. You nailed it. That's a professional right there.
Hey, I do my best, you know.
Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I was thrilled to steal you for our Curicon lineup, and I know the whole Curipod community and my teammates are excited. They're tuning in Norwegian time. It is 2 a.m. So, yeah, they're dedicated. They're dedicated. They're probably all in their orange pants too.
Very impressive.
Pants for orange shirt today, so like you. Before we close out, we're going to pick 2 winners. Matt, did you want to do the honors of pick or asking a question or picking or doing something to put you on the spot?
Yeah. So let's do this. The first. Let's see if anybody has an October birthday. If you have an October birthday, will you just put me in the chat? And so we'll watch for that first. And if we can get 2 October birthdays, then maybe we give it to them. If you don't, and you're close to October, which is like September or November, then just type the month of your birthday in. If you're a September birthday, type in September. If you're a November birthday, type in November. We'll get it as close as we can to today.
Pick the month and the date and the closest to October.
Yeah. Okay. Oscar's like, not me. August, maybe? Like, yeah, August probably.
Diane was a direct me.
Oh, okay. So Diane is one of our winners right there.
Okay, I'll write her
so
name
she's
down.
got the October birthday.
Where did
then I'm seeing Jennifer White was the next closest with a September birthday. So we're gonna call it and say that Diane and Jennifer White are our 2 winners. Congratulations.
All right. So make sure you email me. I'm Amanda at Curipod, and just let me know that you won. I'm going to be sending you a email to collect your t-shirt sizes and amongst addresses and other things. At the end of this, it will be BCC email. So with a Google form you can fill out, and I will get those out to you at the conclusion of Curicon. Before we go, Matt, I had the pleasure of going to Norway earlier this month, and I'm going to share with you, I don't know if you've seen it yet, our Curicon dance. Do you know who Viggo Venn is? He was on Britain's Got Talent. So he's a Norwegian comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And Viggo Venn, he gets up, and it spoke to my English teacher heart, because he said, Viggo, my mother is Norwegian, and my father, Venn, was a diagram. Venn diagram. And immediately I was like, I love puns and I love humor. I'm like drawn in. And then he had these vests, and these vests were layered. And he danced to Daft Punk's One More Time. And he's like in Simon Cowell's, like, and then he stops and he's like, oh, you want me to do it one more time? And then he starts dancing, takes off his shirt, and there's another vest. They're just layered and layered and layered. So my Norwegian friends took me on a true hiking experience, which means that we hiked 5 kilometers up a mountain in the snow. And when we got to the top, we made a music video, and we channeled our Norwegian friend Viggo Venn. So here we go. Curipod's Cura Dance Challenge.
One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. One more time, we're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah, alright. Don't stop the dancing. One more time. We're gonna celebrate. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Very fun.
that was my my Norway experience, 5 kilometer hike, and then they made me become a video producer. So no, we actually are turning this into a brain break. We're channeling our friends at Go Noodle, and we're going to create the dance moves. And we have orange vests that we're going to be sending out to students once we launch this. So any of the I think the first X number of classrooms that register to participate, they'll get the orange vest, and we're going to flood social media with our Cura dance.
That is
Love
fun.
that.
I'm excited to see all the kids do it.
That is so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, my dogs are giving me the cue that we have reached an end, which means my kids are making them bark and run around. So, email me for prizes. And then whether you've been here with us since the beginning or you just joined for this session, thank you from the bottom of our orange hearts. You see them all on socials. Your presence has made Curicon what it is, a vibrant hub of learning, community, and innovation. Now, here's the exciting part. We're not done. This was just day 2. All of our sessions, including this one, will be available on replay. And you can join us back tomorrow, right here in the same place at the same time. So remember, keep learning, exploring, stay curious, and I hope to see you then. Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Heather. And Erica, I want to give her a shout out because she taught me the whole grab, drop.
I was going to say, I saw an Erica thing in there.
The Erica move, a jump cut. Yeah, my students used to do that when I taught film, but Erica really taught me the grab and the drop. But Matt, go enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you all who've tuned in. We're going to go to the outro and stay curious.